Yo, what's going on, Nomads and Drifting podcast listeners? I'm Brian.
And I'm Monica.
And welcome to our podcast, Backspace Nomads, where every week we wander into the weirder parts of gaming, preview new game releases, and talk about what it's like to be a gamer. This is episode 39 of the podcast, and we're recording on November 25th. Some quick show notes before we get into the actual podcast. If you guys want to find us anywhere on social media, the best place to hit us up, on Twitter at Backspace Nomads, our Facebook at Backspace Nomads, and I think that's about it for our social media viewing.
And I know that a lot of you all have probably been thinking, how can I write Brian some beautiful love letters?
Yes.
And I think about those types of things a lot. You know, I'm like, oh, Brian, I appreciate you. I want to be able to write you some love letters.
Thank you.
But it's weird because if I write them, then they go to me too. But you can write all the letters you want, feedback, hate mail, please.
No hate mail. Well, okay.
Maybe no hate mail. You know what? Send us, if you want to send us hate mail, it's fine. It's fine. But you can reach us backspacenomads@gmail.com. And it would be great to hear your feedback and thoughts. And
love
love
some
letters.
Questions. Like, what do you want to know about us? You know? The deep desire questions.
I share way too much information. I don't want people to share what they want to know about me.
I don't think you share enough.
I share plenty with you.
So we've been off the air for 2 weeks now.
Yes.
Why were we off the air, Monica? What is going on?
Well, it seems as though Brian has had some dementia happen since
getting old now. Getting a little. I'm 31 now. Things aren't clicking.
I have been a busy bee. For one, Thanksgiving happened in the United States, and so that means that everyone had to eat 15 pounds of food and go see their families. But I also was on vacation out in Scotland. So I guess the first thing, I had let you guys know I was going to be going out there, and I did, and it was great. And I met little cows, and I fell in love with them.
You met the cows?
I did. They're so cute.
They're called Highland cows?
Yeah, Scottish Highland cattle.
Ooh. They're
fuzzy and adorable, and I touched their noses, and I just really wanted to cuddle them. But one of so that was a beautiful moment on the trip. A less beautiful moment on the trip was trying to conversate with bartenders out there. I guess we both spoke English. I think they're just like, oh, you're from America, like you're a fucking asshole, fuck you. I don't know what the deal was. I don't know. I'm projecting my own thoughts on what they might think onto this conversation. But I was being great. Like, I was being social and friendly. And I told this one bar, they were like, oh, we're having a No Shave November competition, and they had shaved their beards off, and for the tips that they got, it went to charity. And I was like, I grew a beard once. And they were like, what? The one bartender that was serving us was like, what? And I was like, oh, have you heard of Twitch? No one there had heard of Twitch.
Oh, they're too cool?
Yeah, they're way too cool. And they don't play video games, apparently. I don't know. They just raise cattle. I don't know. And anyway, so then I ended up showing him when I jokingly grew a beard, which looked real, and then he was kind of laughing at it, and I was like, do you want to see a picture? And this is where I should have just stopped, because he didn't really want to see a picture. He was just being a good employee. And when I showed him the picture, he showed actual visual disgust
of your beard.
Yeah, dude, do you remember that?
I do. That was when you were playing The Witcher. That was
I had the wizard brows and everything, and he did not like it. But they also didn't know what Twitch was. They didn't know anything about video games. I'm like, what is going on here? So did
they have internet there in Scotland?
They did. They had Wi-Fi everywhere. It was great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was free everywhere. But yeah, no, I just know no conversations about video games were able to happen. I found out relatively quickly that even in big cities, it didn't seem like I was in the right spot for that.
Right.
But overall, the trip was awesome, and I got to see castles, and I went to a castle where Monty Python was filmed, and I got the biggest lady boner. It was great. I loved it. And then I came back and decided, like, I was exhausted from this trip, moving into Thanksgiving. Decided, you know what? Let me try watching a Thanksgiving flick.
Okay. What Thanksgiving flick did you watch, Monica?
None, because they don't exist.
Why? You stop lying to me, all right? There's a beautiful Thanksgiving flick that's out there.
Thanksgiving?
No, but that sounds fucking awesome.
Pocahontas.
No, that sounds less awesome. Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving. You're not watching that shit? He throws a Thanksgiving dinner for all the kids. Snoopy and his little dumb yellow bird are all along. They have, like, they're eating popcorn and cake and stuff.
Charlie Brown's lame, dude. I don't want to watch that.
You're lame, dude. How are you going to sit here and tell me that Charlie Brown, the fucking OG of being a kid, is lame?
I never liked Charlie Brown. Ever in my life. I've always thought Charlie Brown to me is as adults are to Charlie Brown.
Are you a hipster?
That. Yeah, I don't know.
What's wrong with you? Do you not like America? Should you have stayed in Scotland?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I would have to bring it. I would have to bring gaming to Scotland, though. But yeah, dude, there's so many movies about Christmas.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of movies about Thanksgiving. I guess it's because Christmas happens in a lot more countries, huh? Like
probably.
Like Thanksgiving is probably just like
it is absolutely like just America.
America. Yeah.
I actually had someone I work with. I work at a touristy area in Orlando, and she said to me, "Do you know?" She was talking to her British table. She goes, "Do you know British people don't celebrate Thanksgiving?"
Why would they? Oh my gosh.
I know. I was like, I do know this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Why don't you go ask them if they celebrate Independence Day? See how they feel about it.
You celebrate 4th of July? Yeah, seriously.
There should be more Thanksgiving movies. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, like all around. I love the day.
Yeah, or at least even like Thanksgiving, like cooking shows or something. Like they don't even focus on that in cooking shows. I don't know. It was weird. And lastly, since we've been gone, I started playing Gwent again.
Oh.
I downloaded it on my PS4, even though I already have it on Steam, and I've put money into it on Steam. I was lazy, and I didn't want to have to sit in my computer chair. So I put it on the PS4, and I sprawled out on my luxurious couch, and I played it from there. And started putting money into it from there too, but just the starter pack, just the
fucking high roller.
I know,
just
dude. I fucking slammed. I slammed that $5 down faster than you could say, "Who's your daddy?"
What? That's not a saying.
I made it one. I just made that saying. I made it.
We don't get to come up with sayings. I mean, maybe we do. We host a podcast.
Yeah, it's one of our sayings.
Okay, that's it.
Yep, that's one of our sayings. That's one of our sayings.
But who's your daddy?
I slammed that $5 down faster than you can say, "Who's your daddy?" All right, but yes, been playing Gwent. Last I played Gwent, the cards were fairly like the decks were not as complicated. There are a lot more cards in play now, and I found myself being brutalized even in the first levels. I remember wrecking kids on this left and right when it came out. I even talked about it on this podcast. I was like, I'm fucking wrecking these little shits. I am getting wrecked by strangers, and I do not like it. So I may just turn this into pay to play and keep buying those packs until I have all legendary.
Just keep throwing down those $5 faster than you can say, "Who's your daddy?"
Yep, for real.
That's fucking retarded. I can't believe Gwent got more complicated. I thought it was a fairly complicated game to begin with.
Oh yeah, they have a lot more cards out now.
That's intimidating. I don't know how I feel about that.
It's good though. When I win, I like do all kinds of victory dances. It's great.
Yeah.
My victory dances last longer than the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sweaty. It's like a workout. And you know, like Wii Fit, they thought they had something with Wii Fit. Gwent is just totally giving me my lungs and my heart the workout of the century.
Goddamn. I'm so jealous. I wish I could just do victory dances all day.
Yeah. Oh, I don't do them all day. I've had like 3.
Yeah. I played for like 8 hours. I had 3 dances.
Yeah.
It's pretty exhausting.
It's awful.
What have I been getting into? The Punisher. I don't know if you're a Marvel fan, a kind of Netflix watcher. I don't know much about you, Monica. We only do a weekly podcast.
I mean, I'm a somewhat of a Marvel fan.
Okay. I'm a big nerd. Hard to believe, but I've been waiting for the Punisher series to come out for a long, long time. The movies never did it real justice. Netflix and Daredevil season 2 had a really great Punisher, so much so they decided to give him his own series, and it's one of the funnest, most gruesome 13 episodes of a show I've ever watched in my life.
You're loving it?
I watched it all. I had to work the day it came out, and I woke up 3 hours before work so I could get 3 episodes in.
Jesus Christ, that's sick. Because you wake up early.
Is it? Yeah, I woke up I swear to God, I was up at 4 a.m. watching The Punisher.
That's sick. That's sick.
What was sick is how cool that show was. All right. They had some of the best gunplay on any show ever. There's like a scene where the Punisher is just like grinding some dude's face along a glass wall.
Oh, whoa, that's too sexual. Oh, no, along a glass wall. Sorry.
Yeah,
you said grinding a dude's face. I'm like, oh.
It's the Punisher. Anything could happen. Maybe he just grinded a dude with his dick.
That could punish certain homophobic people for sure.
Yeah, he just got some pastor. Well, maybe a preacher would actually like that. Never mind. I don't know. So that show was fantastic. I went through all 13 episodes, 3 a.m. I like 2 days. I was through that show and loving it. A little bit comical at some points with how much blood was just being spewed out of people, but it's so good to see them actually like take the Punisher character and treat him kind of how he's supposed to, you know? Other than that, I have been delving deeper into a Fortnite addiction. I have been playing it solo by myself because I'm just a lone wolf. I'm out there in the wild. And then I played it with my family members, my 2 brothers, Dakota's, and then our older brother, Lair Bear, or Evil Fox as he likes to be known. That's the first time all 3 of us have played a game together in 5 or 6 years.
Cute.
It was adorable. And here I was thinking I was a good Fortnite player, and then I played with them, and they're just so much better. And like,
oh no,
like, charging ahead of me, and like every time they got in a gunfight, I was just 20 feet behind them. Like, hold on, guys.
Like, hey guys.
I show up to the fight. Everyone's dead. I'm out of breath.
Yeah.
What happened? Anyone else? What do we got to do here? So, man, Fortnite was such a fun game. I don't think I've played a battle royale game this fun, and it just keeps getting better. I appreciate games that don't take themselves seriously. I was a big Overwatch fan, as you know. It consumed much of my life.
Mm-hmm. You're a great Overwatch player too.
Ooh, dominant, just dominant player. Just can't even put the game down and let people win. So Fortnite from Epic is just another developer that like embraces kind of the silliness of their IP and their concept and like leans into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just looking forward to Fortnite with the family. Hopefully it's a thing. I don't know if they listen to our podcast, but I love them. Just
okay. I'm getting uncomfortable now. I feel like I should leave you alone with your Fortnite conversation.
All right. Well, if you're uncomfortable, let's get into our first segment for the night.
Okay.
Let's talk about cam girls and Twitch. So, I don't know a starting off point, because this isn't like a news article where we kind of give people context from from like an authority, you know what I mean? From like a real news place. This is more of a hodgepodge. Cam girls on Twitch have been blowing up more so than usual. And there has been responses from different parts of the Twitch community that have been more, I would say, aggressive in their nature than just kind of be like, normally they just kind of laugh it off and like kind of like are like sideways angry to Twitch girls, like, oh, haha. But there have been some aggressive like hate thrown at cam girls lately.
Yeah. I forget the guy's name. Who's the guy that started this?
I don't even think I could pull that one out, because if I know his face, but his stream is definitely not known to me. I don't run in those circles. I know he's one of who is it? Mitch Jones, I think it's one of his.
Mitch Jones is one, but the guy that like went off and it became like it blew up. Shit, I don't remember his name.
It definitely was one of his friends, and he just had this. I think he actually got a Twitch ban, like a temporary ban for it, just going off for 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Going off about Twitch girls, I don't know exactly was the cause of the ban, but he actually brought up some like, I don't know, I would say some like fairly valid points in his little tirade. Not just about like girls being on Twitch and like, you know, doing their thing.
Oh my God, valid points? Are you, Brian?
Here's his point.
Boys they can't even if you like a girl, any attractive girl is a fucking shit show.
Don't start with me here. This is not what I'm talking about.
I will fucking start with you.
Here's the thing.
We're just all nerds, and these are the girls that rejected us.
No. I don't agree with that, because I don't agree with that part. His argument, the parts of his arguments and tirade that I was like, that's fucking kind of true, are when like you can't even have a butt in an emote. A butt cannot be in an emote. You know what I mean? If there's an ass shape, they will fucking deny you having the emote on their site, but then there's girls with like their fucking asses hanging out. A guy can't have his shirt off on stream, and then a girl just has everything but the nipples out there hanging out, which I'm not going to say like that's bad, but like, why can't a dude just have his shirt off then?
His name's Trainwrecks, by the way.
Trainwrecks?
I found it. Yeah.
That's erotic. Okay.
So I think the thing is that, is it a frustrating experience? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, do I agree with his rant? Absolutely not. So many of the things that he said and concentrated on in his rant, like saying sluts over and over and over, like, right. Just get over yourself. You would get your dick wet.
Who hurt you?
Yeah, exactly. Like, get the fuck over yourself. One of the things I can't stand about humanity as a whole is like, people are like, ooh, nakedness, that's bad, but I also love it. Or, yeah. Ooh, you know, sexuality, that's bad, but fuck, we fucking love it because it's sex.
Right. So,
but the one thing that that he is, it seems like this like pent up, almost misinformed, misdirected aggression is caused by what a lot of like even just general workplaces have problems with, and that's that things aren't clearly defined.
Okay.
I don't feel like there have been places that I've worked before where if the rules aren't clearly defined, there can become a lot of unrest and a lot of frustration surrounding that area of the business.
Sure. And
with Twitch, they are so standoffish and so whimsical with their rules, with even how they ban people, with how they, once you ban people, the type of answers that you can get. It doesn't matter if you're a huge streamer. If you're banned permanently, you they won't even, sometimes there have been reports at least that they won't even respond to you. And you could have been doing this full time as a job, and
Right.
suddenly you can't even get a response as to why you're banned. So with women, that I guess the thing that I didn't really realize is that there are women that are streaming on Twitch that, have cleavage out. Oh well, boo-hoo. I don't I don't pity people that are having to compete with those women at all. I don't.
Yeah.
But what I do find is that apparently some of them are actually promoting their patrons where you can pay, or they're really just promoting their porn.
Right. Yeah. Like they're like paid for Snapchat type of shit.
And that sounds new to me. I don't feel that that was
It
really
is.
as much in play back when everyone was getting angry about like Nicole Slaw, or some of the other ex porn stars that came over to Twitch, definitely concentrated more on their physical appearance, but still played games. And we're not promoting people going to another outlet where you could go watch them in in porn. And so this is this weird line. However, there have been a few streamers that have already been banned because their patrons, which they were promoting on Twitch,
Yep.
were just promoting them sexually.
Yep.
So I feel like Twitch is starting to define that a little bit better, but I don't know. I mean, where's the statement? There's all this unrest in their community. There's all this like vitriol in their community. Where are the statements? And
Twitch does a very bad job at giving statements, like you're alluding to. I don't know what it is about their departments where they just feel like no response is the best response, and just like interpret what you will by our actions rather than what we're putting out there as statements.
right. And if you've been around Twitch long enough, you've seen the rules alter. You've seen it so that guys could be shirtless and then guys couldn't be. You've seen it so that too much cleavage would used to get bans.
Yep.
And now it doesn't. And so where are these rules? Who's making these decisions? And then in reality, is it the community manager's job to respond to these intense emotional outbursts within the community? Or is it not their job and somebody else's job? Is it an official statement by the company? I don't know.
See, I think Twitch, much like, I don't even want to single out Twitch for this. Like YouTube does a horrible job of this. Every content platform does a very horrible job, in my mind, at communicating with their creators on like what the rules actually are.
Yeah.
And I think that's purposeful to give them a gray area for them to operate so that they can do what they want and what they feel like is best for the brand.
Because
we
you
can't
end up randomly blocked or randomly,
right.
banned.
I'm saying so that the like YouTube or Twitch can do what they want.
Yeah.
To protect their brand how they see fit without getting too deep of like rules that are set in stone.
Yeah.
And I think what the problem I like come to is that I think cam girls are, in a sense, and like I say this, like give me enough rope to hang myself with this, because I think they should be able to run the stream that they want. I think that they should be able to have their boobs hanging out, being trying to turn guys on with their body instead of their gameplay. I think they like, if that's the stream they want to run, people have the right to tune in to the content they want to watch. I just think that in a sense that they're kind of shitty to do it. I think they're kind of like predatory. I think a lot of people on Twitch are kind of lonely people sometimes who are either going through some stuff or just haven't socially been out there like the rest of the world. Like, we're gamers, we're not the most social bunch. We don't have lessons learned. And I think that they kind of prey on that.
We're talking about millions of people.
But there are
people, and these people are like, okay, Brian, I'm gonna get a little. I'm gonna put myself out here right now, but like, I don't know if you've ever paid for a website that you enjoyed that was like a fetish website or anything like that.
No.
Um,
Pornhub, please. I
okay. Well,
I want the
that's you.
freest porn content.
The freest. Okay, that's great. That's you. But I'm just saying, like, you can make a decision. And the thing is, like, if the I guess the question is there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to get that type of content. But is that content the type of content that belongs on Twitch? And where does that line get drawn?
Mhm.
And that is what has not been defined. And I think that that's where so much frustration exists. If everyone in the community knew this is what's allowed and this is what's not allowed, then they would have these clear sets of rules, this governing existence where it's like, that's not okay, but I have to be okay with this.
Right.
That doesn't really exist right now.
Do you think Twitch would be better served that instead of having like girls like that, you know, go into like a League of Legends, which seems to have a lot of these type of girls, um, that they just kind of have like a cam girl section? Do you think that would be better?
That would be one possibility. Yeah, absolutely. And that would be like an over 18 section or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. I think that could be a possibility. However,
Can we have it called like Tits for Bits?
Tits for Bits.
I think that would be.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds great. But if they don't want to do that, if they don't want to create a section around that, then they've got to define what's okay with them, because they say in their rules that there's not supposed to be any overt sexualization.
Yeah.
And it seems like if you're promoting your patron, which then is just selling your porn or your like whatever, then that's not okay with them because they have banned a few people for that.
Yeah.
But what is okay? You know, and I think that's the thing, is it's just like rope it, make the rules. Don't be afraid. Make the rules that you want to make and stick by them. Just stick by them.
I'll go with
Because what's really frustrating is just like, oh yeah, like, you know, women power and whatever. This isn't it's okay if Twitch is moving away from video gaming. It's fine. But let's be honest about it. Like, if it's not a video game, like if it's YouTube,
yeah,
live, no, let's be honest about it. You know, their rules, they used to be strict. They're not so strict anymore, and that's what's so frustrating. You don't know what's right and what's wrong. And I think that a lot of people's frustrations, and I mean this in the kindest way possible, are from their own inability to emotionally handle the things that they feel when they see titty streamers. I'm not joking.
I agree with you there, because
it creates this really emotional response.
We've seen Trainwreck, and I guess I didn't watch. I can't recall all of his like what he was going on about, but there is such a entitlement. He
sounded crazy.
He did.
Oh yeah.
And there's such an entitlement from these people who have like 10 to 20 viewers and act like, well, if there just wasn't cam girls on Twitch, I'd be at like fucking 200 viewers every fucking day. Like, I don't know where that comes from either.
I will tell you that you know, when I'm on like a, let me see what older Brad Pitt's looking like nowadays.
Ooh.
It doesn't, if there were no images on Google Images of him, I would be cool with looking up Willem Dafoe.
Are you down for Willem Dafoe? Apparently, if the rumors are true, he has a massive penis. Just a fucking elephant trunk.
Well, I have heard about those rumors, but you know, I haven't seen the goods. Maybe if it was just lower half of Willem Dafoe, but no, I'm joking. I would not be like, oh, all of Brad Pitt's are looking gone. Okay, let me look at this other thing, you know?
Sure.
Or okay, let's take it a step further. All of Brad Pitt's photos are gone. Okay, I guess I'll just look at I don't know, snow foxes.
Who's Snow Fox?
Who's Snow Fox? No, just like foxes, like snow.
Oh, just
the animal. Oh. Like completely one different direction. What I'm trying to say here, God damn it, Brian, is that
what are you doing?
Is that if you are looking at gigantic titties, you're not going to go, the gigantic titties are gone. Let me go look at this fucking sad person in his basement that's not even talking to chat and that is playing on his Xbox.
You know what? I don't think we can go any further with this conversation. I think you fucking put it in the bag. So, um, I guess, William Dafoe is hey, great segue. William Dafoe, the good, the bad, and the indie. The Good, the Bad, the Indie is a segment where we look through all the new releases of gaming and bring you our opinion on what games you should play, the ones you should avoid, and what indie games you need to put on your radar. This episode, we're looking at games released between November 19th and November 25th. Monica, what is your first or your only good for the week?
Oh my gosh. Can I just say that I don't know if people do not like putting out interesting, good games around the holidays because everyone's so busy. But this was a tough week.
Very, very tough.
A lot of digging in order to be able to find really anything outside of bad games. Go figure.
Great week for bad games.
Great week for bad games. They were out there. A lot of other people were not. So for my good this week, I went with a game. It is an indie game, but it is priced so fairly, and it is an introduction. So it's called Fairy Walk, The Prelude, and it is priced at only $169. The world where humanity is almost gone, a few remaining people search for each other amongst monsters, common inhabitants of the earth. However, this story is about a child who is going to obtain something very important. Fairy Walk, The Prelude, is a short prologue to the Fairy Walk game. So this is a larger game that's going to be coming out.
Okay.
So one thing I want to say about this game is that the art style in this is eerie as hell.
Very.
It is not necessarily a horror game, though it has horror elements. You do get chased around these misty, creepy woods. I don't know what's there's a few games out there that use like a really shadowy palette. Indie games. This is one where you're doing more of exploring. You're walking through the woods, 3D atmosphere, and the types of creatures that you run into are really weird. It's almost I don't want to say that they are Nightmare on Christmas weird because they're not that intricate, but they have this like kooky weird dynamic to them. And it's got a great sound. It seems like it's got a great soundtrack. I really enjoyed what I was hearing from it. There are some puzzles in it. And like I said, a sense of horror. So the reviews in general, there's only a few out there. This game has not really like hit it big yet, but it seems really, really interesting and like something I would totally enjoy.
Sure. I definitely love the character design in this game. The way the colors are using that like crushed black look to make everything feel like creepier. Like I'm all about that in the games and art design. My good for the week would have to be Titanic VR. Get your heartthrobs out. You're going to be going through the wreckage of the Titanic. My only experience with VR is using the Google Cardboard. I guess tool. It's where like Google sends you like a cardboard box, and you slide your phone into it, and then it splits the screen somehow, and like you're in the VR that way. It's very ghetto.
Yeah, the poor man's VR.
The poor man's VR.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I've been looking to get into more VR. Any family members watching this? Christmas coming up. If you want to get me a VR system, I would love to check out Titanic in a virtual reality sense. Titanic VR. You will dive to the bottom of the North Atlantic. You take the role of Dr. Ethan Lynch, Associate Professor of Maritime Archaeology. With funding from a mysterious investor, James Cameron, you set out to answer questions and have remained submerged for a century. There is something, there's almost like a theme that we've been going through with games we've looked at. And it's anything that's like underwater, you're in a submarine, it's creepy. Every time those kind of games have come up on this podcast, I just want to be all about them. I want them in my life. I want to explore them. I want to get creeped out. I want to be 3,000 leagues beneath the sea. I love it.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, I am in love with the way this game's looking. I love the nature of being in a ship and closed in, and like that's all there is. This is your existence, is this tiny little area.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're exploring the Titanic and the wreckage from it. This game looks gorgeous. VR is kind of, a lot of VR games have been like coming out in the past year. I think VR is kind of slowly coming into its own and realizing itself on like what it can do, and putting you in these scenarios where like the Titanic is a tangible idea to us.
Yeah.
Underwater in the Titanic is something we know about, and I think it is such a smart way to use VR is to put you into something like that. I am all about Titanic VR.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. The only thing I will say is like outside of the ship, the exploration like actually in the ocean is really interesting. What just from like visual perspective, the internal bouts or bits of the ship look a lot less polished. And so while I totally understand wanting to try to find Leonardo DiCaprio and seeing if you can care about him more than Rose did, um, I I feel like the price point's a little heavy, but I also don't know a hell of a lot about um VR price points. Like I don't know if those
The
are more
Titanic's not going to
expensive.
be cheap, Monica. This is a
You know,
Victorian class ship, all right?
okay, all right. You know, I just when I pay for a ticket onto a ship, I expect it to still be floating. But for those of us that are more adventurous,
That's going to be a
this might,
$40 ticket, not a $25 one.
yeah, under the sea, under the sea.
Life is the bubbles under the sea. There are no troubles. I live
It's
in
true.
Orlando. Don't try and quote fucking Disney songs to me, all right?
I will. I'm sorry.
All right, what's your bad for the week?
My bad for the week. I tried not to go ham on like someone's game they that they like put a minimal effort into, and tried to find a game that had put a little bit more effort into and then shit on that one. So I found Red Crucible Reloaded. Destroy, smash, and blast your way to victory. Use advanced weapons and vehicles to dominate the battlefield. This is a free-to-play game. However, just like with most free-to-play games, you are going to be paying certain things in game in order to be able to compete. So I am going to straight up say, do not download this and even run the risk of trying to invest any money into it. Because this game is apparently riddled with bugs. There is literally no one playing it. You can't get into any of the servers. It has had a ton of issues. And it's not even in early access or anything like that. But the graphics on this thing are a little brutal too. Granted, again, I know it's free to play. But this is not a free to play game that is actually free to play. They are going to be pushing in-game purchases on you hard.
You know they are.
Yeah. So don't even install this one thinking, wow, this is going to be cheap. We'll get to it in a little bit, but I've got another free to play game that's much, much better for you to try out.
This looks like a horrible Battlefield ripoff.
Oh, it is so
The graphics are so flat.
ugly. It is really ugly. I think if you were playing with some of your buddies, could maybe get like an hour of fun out of this until the glitches and stuff in the game just totally demolished any spirit that you once had, and then you would, spiral into a deep depression and come out 2 hours later when you found a game that was worth a shit.
My bad for the week would have to be Immortal Heroes from Azimuth Team. This game just I don't even know where to begin with this game. Sometimes you like load a game up in Steam and there is so much like shit being thrown at you, you don't even know how to start to clean yourself up to talk about it. I'll start with the bio. And you are a brave warrior who came to this world to save its inhabitants. Here you will be met by awful monsters such as huge spiders, wolf werewolves, bears, and unicorns. The essence of the game, like any clickers, is to quickly press the button to finish. That's an amazing description from the Asmot team. And let's go into some of the features. Nice graphics with the style of drawing paints. What? Random generation of levels, atmospheric soundtrack, and get this, Steam achievements. This Immortal Heroes game just looks like a big turd that they pumped out in, I don't know, less than a month. So they had a friend who could kind of draw, and they're like, oh, let's make a video game. And then his friend who can't draw just took those, put them together, made a bad C+ game in some old Adobe or Visual Suite Studio game programming thing, and tried to put this up on Steam for the rest of us to waste our money on. This game looks terrible.
It really does. And I really do like that, though, that they definitely are trying to capitalize on sexuality, because the fella here definitely has his shirt off and the woman has some extreme cleavage going on. Another thing I need to mention is you had listed this as your indie of the week, and I was going to shit all over you. I was so excited that was going to be the indie you were promoting. I was like, I know this was a rough week for both of us in order to find the games for everyone, but like, good Lord.
Let's get a little meta into our show prep. Sometimes old Brian here accidentally puts the wrong things in the wrong table.
Oh yeah, he did. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? He's really going to try to sell this to people? Or like, oh, I was so excited, but yes, it's your bad. Yeah, I'm with you here. This is definitely not an exciting game. Does list some nudity in it though. So, you know, if you like cam girls on Twitch, you may like this game.
It's there. And now that you mentioned all the sexualization of this dude in the main logo with his shirt off, that sword looks like he's holding his dick.
Just really does
just
in a very weird way. And he also looks really tired and a little haggard, like he might have been on a cocaine binge for the last week. So Immortal Heroes or Immoral Heroes, we don't know. Moving on.
What's your indie for the week?
My indie for the week is also a free-to-play game. Now, I have to preface this though, guys. This game is only going to last you about 5 minutes. I know.
My girlfriend loves that shit.
Oh, God. This is a new game studio that is trying to really put effort into some of their ideas, but this is a first introduction into one of their concepts. It is called The Mammoth, a Cave Painting. And it is, they list it as tell the 5 million year story of the mammoth in 5 minutes. There are some game dynamics where you are playing this mammoth that is trying to get back to the herd and also protect her young from hunters. And apparently that 5 minutes is going to make you a little, could possibly make you a little emotional. But what I really like about this is that they are introducing themselves onto the scene, and they have put effort into this game. The visualization, the small amount of voice acting that is present here is well done, and the graphics are attractive. Cool. It almost looks like you would be reading a children's book. And I really like the concept here. So I would love to see them extend this, turn this into something larger. And again, it's free to play. So my indie for the week is a free to play game. I totally recommend you spend 5 minutes of your day and just check out this this new developer. They're called In Between Games, and see if you like them and support them.
I love it. First off, the graphics totally look like a cave painting. Like they let you know right from the title. They kind of have like a Don't Starve feel to them a little bit.
A little, yeah, they do. I thought the same thing.
And in between games should just be with this like kind of a spotlight and like a beacon of how you're supposed to come out and start launching games when you're not like a really established studio.
Hmm.
Instead of like putting out a shit game for like $10, hoping some people are gonna buy it. This is free to play
Yep.
because they know what it is and they know who they are and what they're trying to be. And I really appreciate and respect that they're doing that.
Yeah.
My indie for the week would be a game that just looks completely fun to play. It's called John the Zombie. John the Zombie is from Minimal Lab. Start with the description. So you might be wondering, am I really going to put a zombie on top of a horse while it's running around while it's running from an armored car in a partially destroyed city that I was put in part of the chaos to take myself? I don't know how to read.
It's not you, dude. It's
Okay.
they don't know how to write.
Okay. Oh, yes, you are. Have all the fun you want while terrorizing everyone and eating a massive load of brains. This game, so much like so many times you're scrolling through Steam and you find indie games that just kind of let you know what you love about the genre of indie games. What other game puts you in the role of actually being the zombie? You get to walk around the city, eat people, mess with them, ride bicycles somehow, even though you're decaying, and just generally cause havoc. You literally are walking around with your arms out in front of you, like an idiot, like doing the classic zombie rush, and like it just looks so hilariously unique and fun to me. I don't think I've ever seen a game that lets you play as the zombie and be the
Yeah.
one to destroy things. And I just really love that the developer had that idea and was like, "Well, let's go for it. Let's do it."
It seems almost Goat Simulator esque to me.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm.
but you are playing a concept that is a little bit more in tune with, I would say, like a lot of our thought processes. Like, what would it be like to be a zombie? I'm not really actively thought about like what would it be like to be a goat and have a really long tongue that sticks to things. Um, but I have thought, like, what would it be like if I became a zombie, you know?
Sure.
And I can live that deep, dark fantasy of mine through this game, John Zombie. Yeah, it definitely looks like a fun little game.
Mhm. Just a little short, like one off, like let's just be John the Zombie.
Yeah, just kick it for a few hours and enjoy yourself.
All right, so let's recap for the week. What's your good, bad, and indie?
So my good was Fairy Walk. It is developed and published by AI Hasto. It's only priced at $1.69, but again, this is an intro to the game, so it is not the full game. They're trying to make a little bit of money back as they are introducing you to the concept of their game. Um, it is an adventure indie with some puzzle elements and a little bit of horror. My indie or my bad for the week is Red Crucible Reloaded. It is developed and published by Rocketeer Game Studio. It is a free to play game, but trust me on this one, do not download it. You
Mm.
do not want to even be enticed to spend a little bit of money on this guy. Just go ahead and skip it. And my indie for the week is another free to play game called The Mammoth, a cave painting. It is a new game from a new studio. It's very, very short. It's an introduction to basically where one of their concepts and what they want to be doing. And it's developed and published by In Between Games.
There you go. For me, my good for the week would be the Titanic VR. This is a game developed and published by Immersive VR Education Ltd. Released November 24th, 2017 for a price point of $24.99. This game lets you take part in discovering the Titanic. My next bad for the week would have to be Immortal Heroes, released or developed and published by Azimut Team on November 24th, 2017. It is a click and point adventure that you can pick it up for the staggering price of $0.99. I guess it'd be 99 cents in most countries.
$0.99.
And my indie for the week would be John the Zombie. John the Zombie was developed and published by Minimal Lab, released onto Steam November 22nd, 2017. All around positive game, lets you play as a zombie for the first time ever. There's never been a game like this. You can pick it up on sale off of Steam for $5.99. And that's the good, the bad, the indie for the week. So I think that's going to do it for the show. Thanks for tuning in to episode 39 of the Backspace Nomads, hanging out with us, listening to us. If you want to check us out and engage with us, backspacenomads.com, on our Twitter at Backspace Nomads, or fan mail, backspacenomads@gmail.com.
Write us love letters.
You're going to just
write
love
us
us.
great love letters.
Also, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Backspace Nomads, and you enjoyed the episode, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to the video. If you're a podcast listener on Apple iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, the ratings, reviewing, and subscribing to the podcast on those platforms is the best way to support us because it helps us a lot with discovery. And that's about it. We appreciate all the support that we're getting from the community. We are closing in on 1,000 YouTube subscribers.
Yay!
So thanks to everybody who's tuning in on YouTube and checking us out there. Appreciate it. But that's all. That's it. We'll see you guys for episode 40 of Backspace Nomads next week. Later, Nomads.
See ya.